All right, hello, welcome back to another way better video. Today's video, we have can't miss headlines from this past week. Now, the problem with the channel that I'm at, and this is going to be very quick, very brief, don't worry, is there's so much NBA content and so much big headlines from time to time, from week to week. And you know, I'm working and being a dad, I can't cover everything with a single video. So moving forward, I'm going to try, and I'll see how this does. I'll incorporate can't miss headlines, you know, from week to week and just see how they do. And for this week, there's a decent amount of them, not too much, about half a dozen. And then at the end of the video, we'll do a standings update, just, you know, to go through the standings together very briefly. Okay, I decided to turn off the lights. Hopefully that didn't change too much, whatever. Anyway, let's get the video started. First headline, this is going to be a tough one if you're a Clippers fan, but Chris Paul sent home by the team.
It just didn't work out like we thought it would, you know, and like I said, I don't like it for CP, you know, but it just wasn't a good fit. You know, and we understood that, and so, like I said, it was an organization. You know, they made the choice. You know, and so moving forward, you know, we got to see what we do. So, you know, we'll see.
Now, the details that have been coming out by this has been just really weird, because supposedly Chris Paul was, you know, pushing back, you know, for a better atmosphere, more from the coaches, more from the franchise, front office, players, and just being Chris Paul, the Chris Paul that we've known him to be. Whether the team's really good or not, to have a championship mindset. It is also well known that Chris Paul has announced his retirement. This is his retirement tour. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, and I'm looking at midnight like, what the hell is hitting my phone? He gets sent home. Not released yet, but sent home. Now, for those of you that, you know, are newer to the NBA, Chris Paul was part of the Lob City Clippers. You know, he made his place known in the organization. There's a lot of fans that love him. So him to come back and you know, have his retirement tour, the social media team posted a video like, hey, this is Chris Paul's retirement tour, blah, blah, blah. Like, what better place to have it than the Clippers? Anyway, it's just a massive mess. Players like Blake Griffin have come out. Lou Williams have come out. Extremely disappointed. Harden supposedly was shocked. Kawhi was supposedly shocked. It's just a Clippers thing to do. And I don't mean this in any harmful way to Clippers fans, but the franchise just has not caught W's this past year. And it's just, when I say it's a Clippers thing to do, as in, yeah, continue to not catch those W's. And all in all, just a disastrous situation. And you cannot miss this headline. Now, is Chris Paul one of the greatest players today? No, obviously not. But he's such an important figure for the basketball world. He's such an important figure for Clippers fans that this is can't miss headline for the week. Number 2, we have Giannis' future looking dim in Milwaukee. Now, this one sucks because small markets, you know, it's not easy. Milwaukee, you know, in this instance, it's tough because they've tried, and I'm not going to say they successfully have done things, but they've tried in recent years to just pair Giannis with some players, and it's just not gone great. The whole Damian Lillard thing, not great. Giannis will meet with Bucks front office and ownership or something like that this week, and we'll talk about his future with the team. Now, it's looking dim because the Bucks suck without him, and even when they're with him, they're not very good because the supporting cast for Giannis isn't good enough. So, again, starting off 1 and 2, not great. The third one doesn't need to be on here by any means necessary. But because we've had 2 really just bad pieces of can't miss headlines, we're going to include this. Luka Doncic is having his second daughter. He missed yesterday's game. I'm recording this on a Friday. He missed yesterday's game against the Raptors, and he missed today's game against the Celtics, in which the Lakers are going to lose. Is that a can't miss headline? Technically, no. If you're me and you have Luka on your fantasy team, that is a can't miss headline because it'll probably lose you the week. But congratulations, Luka Doncic. The 4th can't miss headline is Zion is injured. Pelicans are honestly just screwed. Now, what's going on with Zion? Elaborate. Okay, the injury is, and I'm having to look at my phone for this, a right adductor strain. What does that mean? It means he'll be reevaluated in 3 weeks. He will not be back in 3 weeks. In 3 weeks, they're just going to look at him and say, okay, this is where you are. This is how close you are to your return. And obviously, you know, Zion already hurt his hamstring. He barely came back, and he already hurt his abductor while being on a minute restriction and load management. So, skinny Zion experiment so far has just been absolutely useless so far. But I will say Pelicans are, at this point, very, very, very likely to trade him. It's just a question of when not if. And whether he builds his value back up and they get a good trade out of it, or they trade him at a low price because they're just absolutely done, cannot wait anymore, I think that he'll play another game as a Pelican and they'll have to build his price back up. But yeah, another can't miss headline. You can't miss that. Zion getting hurt. Pelicans are really, really bad. Why is that can't miss though? Because the Hawks get their pick. The Hawks, whom have Jalen Johnson, Trae Young. Porzingis has been in and out. I mean, I know Trae Young's been hurt, but he's still Trae Young. We'll see what they do with that. And a bunch of other pieces are going to be getting a really, really, really good pick. Possibly number one. The fifth and final. Is this the fifth? Yeah, this is the fifth and final news piece. LeBron James loses his consecutive 10-point record in the most poetic way possible. I mean, I cannot express enough in the moment how relieved I was in knowing that he lost the record the way he did. For those of you who have already seen the clip, you're going to watch it again.
Goes Reeves to James. Kick it. Corner. Rui the winner to win the game.
And for those of you who haven't seen it, now you have seen it. But to be clear and elaborate a little bit further is he could have taken the shot to end regulation, make or miss. If he makes it, he keeps the record. Miss, he goes into overtime. He has 5 minutes to get 2 points, which is just something that's very, 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 very likely to happen. Instead, he makes the winning basketball play. Something he's just done his whole career is just play basketball the right way. And he passes it to Rui for the game-winning 3-point shot. He loses the record, but again, he gets it in the most poetic way. This is a canvas headline. I mean, this record has gone on for 18 years. I mean, obviously, we haven't been counting for 18 years because 18 years ago, we didn't know what this would be. But we've been counting for a while now. I want to say the past 2, 3, maybe even 4 years. And it's just poetic. It's something LeBron has done through and through, which is just play basketball the right way. And as a Laker fan, obviously I'm ecstatic, how that transpired, just because, again, it was just super cool, super, super awesome to see. Those are your 5. I mean, it's not going to be 5 every week. Some weeks it'll be more, some weeks it'll be less. I mean, there's other pieces of news, like, for example, the Thunder are 21-1. They're still amazing. Shea's amazing. Austin Reeves is playing out of his goddamn mind. So to finish things off here, we're just going to quickly, briefly go to the standings. Pistons number 1. They still maintain that spot. Been playing good basketball lately. Knicks as well. It's really going to be Knicks and Pistons in my opinion. Raptors, Heat, Celtics. Those are the teams to me that'll be going neck and neck, assuming there's no injuries. They've been playing really well. Magic, another team that has turned it around from the early season struggles. I mean, they were looking really, really bad. Paolo Macaro has been out, but they'll be better with him there as well. Sixers winning a pretty crazy game against the Warriors, and they need to just win as much as possible at this point, just because Joel Embiid's not there. Assuming by the end of the season he plays, even a little bit of his normal rate, that would help a lot. Warriors are just old. I talked about it briefly in the Power Rankings video that I created, but it's going to be very hard for them to sustain a super high level over an 82-game season with their roster age. They're a playoff team that's going to... You don't want to play them if you're a 2 seed, 3 seed, because they're like one of the harder 7, 8 seeds that there's going to be. But at the same time, that's where the Warriors are going to be. They're not going to be a super high seed unless some crazy trade happens. Grizzlies, massive disappointments. Blazers have been playing very poorly, 3-7 of the past 10. Jazz, again, I talked about it briefly with them too, but their record's going to go down. They have to stay bottom 8 worst teams, or they give the pick to, I think, the Thunder. I greatly appreciate you guys for watching. That is your Canvas Headlines of the Week. If you were to like, subscribe, it goes a long way to help with the channel. As always, this is Ollie Been Different. All we've been different. And we out.